My name is Olivia Thompson. As the head nurse at Massachusetts General Brigham Hospital, I dedicate my days to patient care. I'm now 8 months pregnant. The baby girl growing healthily in my womb is our first child, one my husband and I have been longing for. The hospital staff tell me that my protruding belly suits my 5 feet 7 inches frame perfectly. At every prenatal checkup, I've been told everything is progressing normally, and I've been able to maintain a peaceful state of mind despite my large belly. But today is different. It's my sister Amber's wedding day. It's a special occasion where I'll see family members I usually only meet a few times a year. At the same time, it's a day that weighs heavily on my heart. "Olivia, we should get going," Michael, my husband, calls out gently. He works as a software engineer at a major IT company. Though mild-mannered, he shows unwavering strength when it comes to protecting his family. We've been married for 3 years, and I take pride in our relationship, which is built on mutual understanding and support. He's also one of the few family members who takes pride in my profession. As I make my final preparations in front of the mirror, I find myself thinking back to 10 years ago. While my mother strongly urged me to go to medical school, I chose to become a nurse. "Why would you throw away the chance to become a doctor?" my mother raged. She even said I was wasting my intelligence. But I had my reasons. I wanted to be closer to patients, providing direct care. I've never regretted that decision. In fact, through my daily work, I feel more certain than ever that I made the right choice. However, I never imagined that this choice would create such a deep rift with my family. Especially my mother Patricia and sister Amber, who began referring to me as the family disgrace. They judge me as being too proud. My mother is the president of Wells Real Estate, a leading local real estate company. Her hair and makeup are always perfect, and she wears only high-end brands. She wields considerable influence in both church and social circles, always drawing attention wherever she goes. For such a mother, having her eldest daughter become just a nurse must have been a significant blow. Mother's favorite saying is, "Appearance is everything." She demanded this strictly from her family as well. Particularly for us sisters, she required perfect behavior from an early age. Table manners, way of speaking, deportment, no compromise was allowed in any aspect. These teachings have taken deep root in my sister Amber. Amber works in sales at Mother's company while also being an Instagram influencer with 500,000 followers. With her model-like figure and cutting-edge appearance, she's living the life Mother always expected. Today, she's marrying James Wilson, an investment analyst at Goldman Sachs. James comes from a prestigious Boston family, and while ambitious, I hear he's a person of strong moral character. At just 29, he's already highly regarded in the investment industry. For Amber, he's truly an ideal marriage partner. Mother is also overjoyed about this marriage. Recently, Amber has become obsessed with portraying a perfect family image on social media. Family dinners at expensive restaurants, yacht vacation trips, glamorous Christmas party photos. While our relationship appears close in photos, we actually only see each other at family events a few times a year. Even then, Mother dotes on Amber while treating me as if I don't exist. When the wedding invitation arrived, I honestly hesitated about attending. However, I felt I should be there as a sister, as family. Michael also encouraged me, saying, "Let's go together." Michael parked the car. Before us stood the magnificent building of the Ritz-Carlton Boston, the wedding venue. In the chilly autumn air, I placed my hand on my large belly. I could feel the baby moving slightly. Hoping for a peaceful day, we headed toward the hotel entrance. As I stepped into the grand ballroom of the Ritz-Carlton Boston, I caught my breath. The white and gold decorations sparkled brilliantly in the morning light. Crystal chandeliers hung gracefully from the ceiling, scattering light like a starry sky, while fresh flower arrangements adorned the walls, releasing the sweet fragrance of freesias. The tables were perfectly set with selected linens and cutlery, each place setting resembling a work of art. Before entering the venue, I hesitated for a moment. Michael gently squeezed my hand and gave a small nod. In the car earlier, he had repeatedly told me, "If you feel unwell, just let me know right away." But I couldn't ruin my sister's special day. I took a deep breath and straightened my back. It was 11 a.m., 1 hour before the ceremony. While staff bustled around making final checks, many guests had already begun gathering. I noticed prominent local figures from Mother's Circle, real estate industry leaders, and even attendees from my hospital. With 300 invited guests, the venue was gradually coming alive. The sight of women in cocktail dresses created a colorful scene like a flower garden. The bridesmaids in Vera Wang dresses were talking quietly in a corner of the venue. They seemed to avoid eye contact whenever they saw me. They probably feared that having an 8-month pregnant sister would spoil the atmosphere of this perfect wedding. In one corner of the venue stood a pure white 3-tier wedding cake. Sugar flowers crafted with delicate skill decorated it like a real bouquet. Pearl-like sugar beads were scattered across the entire cake, with a handmade cake topper gleaming at the top. Around the cake, several guests were already taking photos with their smartphones. As expected of an Instagram influencer's wedding, photography was happening everywhere. I couldn't help but smile wryly. Amber's posts would surely be filled with hashtags. Hashtag perfect wedding, hashtag dream bride. I could imagine such tags lined up. At the venue entrance, young employees from Mother's real estate company were helping with reception. Their movements were refined, and I was impressed by how well they reflected Mother's training. Then I suddenly realized I hadn't checked where I would be seated. I looked around the venue and called out to Mother. In her perfect hair and makeup, wearing a custom Oscar de la Renta beige silk dress, she embodied the image of a successful businesswoman. The Cartier necklace gleaming at her throat spoke of her status. "Where is my seat?" Mother glanced at me and gave me an icy look. It was the same look she had given me 10 years ago when I told her I was becoming a nurse. "You don't have a seat. Please carry the cake." At those words, I couldn't believe my ears. The atmosphere in the venue suddenly felt heavy. But my belly. As I tried to continue speaking, Amber interrupted. My sister, dressed in a pure white Vera Wang wedding gown, was undeniably beautiful. The dress seemed designed specifically for her. But her expression showed a familiar sneer. "You can manage that much even while pregnant, can't you? It's my special day." At Amber's words, snickers could be heard from the surrounding guests. Among them must have been my hospital colleagues. I felt my cheeks burning. My chest tightened with humiliation. Michael had been called away for pre-ceremony photos and wasn't present. I could only stand there alone. The atmosphere in the venue became tense for a moment. Usually, I could maintain professional composure in such situations. Whether dealing with severe trauma patients in the ER or attending difficult deliveries, I can control my emotions. But today was different. The heartless words from my family were cutting deep into my heart. Still, I began walking toward the cake, carefully taking each step while carrying my large belly. What would normally be an insignificant distance felt extraordinarily long today. The cake was on a stainless steel cart, but I could see it would require considerable strength to move. All around the venue, smartphone cameras were pointed at me. Surely this humiliating moment would be uploaded to social media too. But perhaps this was part of my sister's perfect wedding. Olivia, that's... I heard a concerned voice. Turning around, I saw Dr. Sarah Walker from the hospital wearing an anxious expression. As my obstetrician, she had been handling my prenatal care. In her eyes, I could see the warning of a medical professional. But that warning came too late. The moment I reached for the cake cart, a sharp pain shot through my lower abdomen. The pain was unlike anything I had experienced before. My face contorted involuntarily. Then in the next moment, I felt warm liquid spreading around my feet. I was stunned as I felt my maternity dress getting wet. I stood frozen in place as the venue fell silent around me. I could see the color drain from Mother's face. Her expression froze beneath her perfect makeup. "It's my wedding. Don't ruin it." Amber's scream echoed through the venue. My panicked sister grabbed the hem of her pure white dress and backed away. Her fiancé James, though wearing a bewildered expression, maintained his gentlemanly composure. At that moment, Dr. Walker rushed to my side. The sharp sound of her heels striking the floor echoed through the silent venue. "Everyone, please step back. I'm an obstetrician." Her calm voice and professional demeanor quieted the murmuring venue once again. "Olivia, it's going to be all right. I'm calling an ambulance now. We'll take care of you until then." Following Dr. Walker's words, other medical staff present at the venue gathered around. Nurses, residents, and another obstetrician too. My usual colleagues were now caring for me as their patient. I felt proud of their efficient handling of the situation. Mother and Amber were in a state of panic. How could this, my perfect wedding? Amber was distraught, clinging to her fiancé James. Mother was desperately trying to explain something to the venue staff, but her voice was trembling. Her hand clutching her high-end brand clutch bag was shaking minutely. And as if to document this situation, many guests began taking photos with their smartphones. With each flash, this event was being permanently recorded. Surely these scenes would be uploaded to social media soon, as an unexpected ending to a wedding that sought too much perfection. "The ambulance will arrive in 5 minutes." I heard someone announce. I let out a deep sigh. To think I would become the center of attention at my sister's wedding in such a way. But strangely, the feeling of humiliation from earlier had vanished. Instead, what I felt was a readiness to face this unexpected delivery and deep gratitude toward my medical professional colleagues. "Olivia, just a little longer. The baby will wait." Dr. Walker squeezed my hand. That warmth gradually calmed my anxious heart. The wedding might have been ruined, but a new life was waiting for us. Perhaps that was a more precious event than any wedding. While waiting for Michael to arrive, I took deep breaths surrounded by my colleagues. The voices of Mother and Amber faded away. Instead, I focused my consciousness on the baby's heartbeat in my womb. In the hospital bed, I was holding my newborn daughter. It was 12 hours later. I couldn't believe my eyes at the smartphone screen Michael held out. The silence in the hospital room suddenly turned into heavy air. "I think you should see this too." The screen displayed videos capturing the events at the wedding. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the same footage was being shared across all platforms. Mother and Amber's cold attitude, the moment I tried to move the heavy cake, and even the moment my water broke. Everything was clearly recorded. The venue's luxurious decorations ironically highlighted their cruelty. The first to go viral was a TikTok post by a young employee who had attended the wedding. The 60-second video began with Mother's cold voice saying, "You don't have a seat." It continued to capture Amber's sneering expression and the moment my face contorted in pain. Particularly striking was how the medical staff responded immediately. Their professional actions created a stark contrast with Mother and Amber's inhumane attitude. "The view count is..." Michael nodded. In just 24 hours, it had recorded over 500,000 views on TikTok, 300,000 on Instagram, and more than 200,000 on Facebook, with waves of anger swirling across each platform. The response from medical professionals was particularly intense. The social media manager for the American Nurses Association issued a statement on their official account, strongly condemning the lack of respect for healthcare workers and consideration for pregnant women as unacceptable in modern society. Support continued to pour in from hospitals and clinics across the country. The social media accounts of Mother's company, Wells Real Estate, were hit by a storm of criticism. Posts that normally received dozens of comments suddenly swelled to thousands. The company's PR team was overwhelmed, eventually forcing them to disable comments on all social media accounts. The impact on Amber was even more devastating. Her Instagram following, which boasted 500,000 followers until the day before the wedding, plummeted to 100,000 within 48 hours. Her posts showcasing her luxurious lifestyle were flooded with sarcastic and condemning comments. Sponsorship contracts with luxury brands sent termination notices one after another. PR representatives from luxury brands explained the reason for contract termination as not aligning with our brand image and values. Cosmetics and jewelry brands took similar actions. Amber eventually set all her social media accounts to private. Her once vibrant online presence vanished overnight. That evening, there was a call from James's mother. Michael took the call and quietly relayed its contents to me. "They're demanding the wedding be postponed. It affects the Wilson family's reputation too." James's family is among Boston's most prestigious, with generations of influence in the financial world. For them, this scandal carried meaning beyond mere controversy. It could potentially affect James's position at Goldman Sachs. Apparently, questions about Amber's character were raised at the family meeting, Michael continued. "The talk suggests more than just postponing the wedding, there's a possibility of calling it off entirely." The impact on Mother's company exceeded expectations in its severity. First, a major developer suddenly withdrew from a new project, citing corporate image concerns. Then, an investment fund that had been a long-term business partner requested a contract review. Employee movement was also notable. Resignation letters kept coming in, particularly from young sales staff. "Cannot comply with such corporate culture, and must question qualifications as a manager," were among the reasons stated in their resignation letters. Executive attitudes began to shift as well. At board meetings, voices questioning Patricia's management abilities began to rise. With inquiries from shareholders pouring in, the company's credibility rapidly declined. The response from the local community was particularly painful. Word spread that Mother and Amber were no longer seen at the church they attended every Sunday. Members of the church women's group clearly stated, "We cannot associate with people who commit such inhumane acts." Voices urging Mother's resignation arose from the church board where she had served for many years. After Sunday Mass, tea gatherings openly condemned their actions. The community couldn't hide their surprise at such harsh attitudes from supposedly devout church members. Their exclusion from social circles progressed quietly but surely. Mother's name disappeared from next month's charity event committee. Christmas season party invitations stopped coming. Boston's high society began quietly but firmly excluding them. The attitudes of residents in the luxury residential area also changed. Former neighbors who used to exchange greetings and chat now changed their route when they saw Mother. Even supermarket cashiers showed cold attitudes. Journalists' pursuit intensified. Local media continued reporting on this incident daily. Mother and Amber were reportedly confined to their homes. I heard an interesting story from my nursing colleagues. The cleaning staff at Mother's company office reportedly spotted her slumped in her office, lights on until midnight. They said she showed an exhausted expression, quite different from her formerly perfect hair and makeup. Perhaps Mother, who had always prided herself on perfect appearance and social status, was experiencing defeat for the first time. Amber too was reportedly living days opposite to her once glamorous life. The social media backlash had stripped away her sponsorship contracts, which had been her source of income. Rumors circulated about strain in her relationship with James. Her Instagram, which had been updated daily, suddenly fell silent. That silence vividly illustrated her downfall. Look at this article. A colleague visiting my hospital room held out their smartphone. The headline read, "Controlling Mother and Self-Centered Daughter, Social Media Exposes Family Reality." The photo prominently featured Mother and Amber in distress at the wedding. Their former dignity and grace were nowhere to be found. Interview requests are apparently flooding in. But it seems no one is willing to respond. Reporters were reportedly staking out Mother's home and Amber's apartment. Local news showed journalists with cameras trying to capture images of the two. Once actively sharing information on social media, they were now unable to even leave their homes for fear of media coverage. Mother's influence in the real estate industry rapidly disappeared. For a company specializing in luxury properties, the damage to their reputation was fatal. Premium clients left one after another, and new inquiries drastically decreased. The credibility built over 30 years crumbled in just a few days. Michael placed his hand on my shoulder and said quietly, "You've done the right thing. You've lived honestly. That's all that matters." Looking at my newborn daughter, I let out a deep sigh. Social media exposed the dark side of our family and instantly destroyed the social status Mother and Amber had built. But perhaps that also marked the end of pretense in family relationships and the beginning of something new. I want to teach this child about true love. Outside the window, autumn twilight was deepening. The setting sun gently illuminated my daughter's sleeping face. This child surely won't need the false values of my mother and sister. 1 week after the wedding incident, Mother and Amber were reportedly living drastically changed daily lives. The luxury brand dresses, perfect makeup, and social media likes never led to true happiness. And now, they continue to pay the price for their actions while enduring cold stares from society. Their pursuit of superficial perfection may serve as a warning to modern society about losing sight of what truly matters. Gentle morning light streamed into the luxury private room at Massachusetts General Brigham Hospital. I lay in the hospital bed, enduring regular contractions while gazing at the autumn foliage outside the window. 8 hours had passed since the unexpected incident at the wedding. The doctor checked the monitor readings and smiled kindly. "Everything's progressing well, Olivia. The baby's heartbeat is stable. Her voice carried both the coolness of a physician and the warmth of a close friend. It was truly fortunate that she, who had been handling my prenatal care, was present at the wedding. My colleagues kept visiting my hospital room. Nurses finishing their night shifts, residents, and midwives. Usually, I'm in the position of giving instructions, but now I'm the one receiving their care. Each of their thoughtful gestures touches my heart. Emma. I whispered my daughter's name softly. It's strange. The wedding was ruined, and I've broken ties with my family, but I'm so happy. Michael smiled gently and held Emma's tiny hand. It's the beginning of our new family. A year has passed since then. Autumn sunlight streams through the window of the Assistant Director of Nursing's office at Massachusetts General Brigham Hospital. On my desk sits a photo of Emma's first birthday. I can't help but smile at the image of my daughter spreading her arms with a big smile. The smiling faces of hospital staff appear in the background. They've become like family to Emma now. When the promotion offer came, I was hesitant at first. Balancing childcare and work after giving birth was more challenging than I had imagined, and I wasn't sure if I had the capacity to take on new responsibilities. But Michael encouraged me, saying, "For Emma's sake too, I want you to chase your dreams, Mom." He actively participates in childcare, even adjusting his work schedule to help. Thanks to his support, I find fulfillment and purpose in the new challenge of managing the entire nursing department. The trust relationships at the hospital have deepened even more since that day. The colleagues who shared that time with me have become like family. Especially the staff who attended Emma's birth, we share a special bond. Dr. Sarah still handles Emma's health checkups and always offers warm words of encouragement after examinations. On holidays, meeting with other parents from the hospital at the park has become a tradition. We share parenting concerns and joys with mothers who have children of similar ages. We celebrate each other's children's growth and help each other when needed. A new kind of family circle has formed, one that doesn't rely on blood ties. The new church we started attending has welcomed us warmly. Jennifer, Emma's Sunday school teacher, told me, "When I saw that video, I was moved by your strength." The weekly tea gatherings after service have become precious times to deepen bonds with our new community. Mother and Amber's downfall was more rapid than expected. Wells Real Estate, facing successive contract cancellations and stock price crashes, finally went bankrupt within just 6 months. Mother's 30-year career came to an abrupt end. For a company specializing in luxury residential transactions, the social media backlash proved fatal. Long-term business partners departed one after another, and in the end, they couldn't even pay employee salaries. Amber's situation was even more devastating. Her influencer activities completely ceased, and all contracts with luxury brands were terminated. The cancellation of her engagement to James came at the strong request of his family. The Wilson family had developed serious doubts about Amber's character. The financial blow transformed their lifestyles. The luxury brand bags, weekly spa treatments, overseas travels, all became things of the past. Mother was forced to sell her home, and Amber had to leave her luxury apartment. They moved to Florida seeking a fresh start, but their situation didn't improve there either. The social media backlash didn't fade from people's memories, even with the change of location. In their new community, someone always knew about their past incidents. Mother tried to start a small real estate brokerage business, but clients left one after another upon learning of her reputation. Amber went through several jobs but couldn't keep any of them. Still, they never uttered words of apology or showed any remorse. Rather, they strengthened their mindset of being victims whose lives were destroyed by social media. Rumors suggest they maintain the same arrogant attitude in their new environment. Instead of learning from past lessons, they seem to be wallowing in victimhood. Meanwhile, my new life has become more fulfilling than I ever expected. Emma's birth has deepened the bond between my husband and me. Michael has become a wonderful father, enjoying daily childcare. His company allows remote work, making it easier to balance work and childcare. At the hospital, my staff dedicatedly support me. Many of them know about the wedding incident. More importantly, they value my work ethic and patient care. I experience daily the importance of relationships built on trust rather than blood ties. The church community has also become an important support for our family. Emma plays with children her age in Sunday school, and we found friends to share parenting concerns with. The bonds formed through faith are deeper than blood relations. Connections with other parents have expanded. Park gatherings have become a weekend tradition. Children play together while mothers exchange parenting information on benches. Sometimes these develop into couple friendships. Emma is growing up surrounded by many uncles and aunts. Sometimes, while holding Emma, I think, blood ties are certainly important. But even more crucial are hearts that care for each other and bonds formed through trust. As a professional, as a nurse, and as a human being, I have no regrets about my choices. Social media indeed exposed Mother and Amber's false masks, but it also taught us the value of genuine bonds. Ironically, the justice brought by social media created a major turning point in our lives. While superficial family ties crumbled, they were replaced by a new community based on real love and trust. Now, I have family beyond blood relations surrounding me. Friends who support each other and share in each other's joys. Emma is growing up wrapped in such warm affection. I hope she becomes someone who values compassion over appearances and status. Outside the window, autumn leaves danced in the wind, announcing the start of a new season. I took a deep breath and faced my desk. Today too, I'll do my best. That's the most important lesson I've learned this past year. Looking at Emma's photo, I smiled quietly. This child will surely walk a different path than my mother and sister. I want her to grow up knowing true love and genuine bonds. Perhaps that's the most precious gift that the wedding incident taught us.